everyone, this is Chris. Thanks for tuning into our channel. So many of our viewers have asked us about proper acrylic application, and I'm very excited to be doing this video for all of you. And we're gonna go back to the basics. I will be showing you everything from proper nail prep for acrylic application to actually applying the acrylic, and different variations on how you can apply the acrylic, from a 3-bead method to a 1-ball method. So if you're getting started in doing nails, this is the perfect video for you. All right, everyone, let's get started. Okay guys, so we're gonna get started with our prepping for the basic acrylic application. And you always wanna be sure that you prep correctly, because if you don't do this right, your nail's gonna have lifting and you're gonna have problems. So the first thing you wanna do when you get started is have your client sanitize her hands and make sure they're nice and clean. And then we're gonna go in with a cuticle pusher and we're gonna push back her cuticles. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the shine on the nail, and we're gonna do that with a sanding band on low speed. And you wanna lightly tap the nail. You're not pushing into the nail, you're not putting any pressure on it. You just wanna take off that shine. Okay, so now I'm gonna repeat this process on the rest of the nails. Okay guys, now we're gonna get started with our tip application. And I wanna give you a few pointers on correct sizing for the tips. You don't want to do them too small, and you don't want to have to push down and it's going to be not fitting right. It's going to pop up if you try to glue it down, and you don't want it too big. You don't want it going past the nail on the sidewalls on your nail, because that's going to cause your product to get into the sidewalls. It's not going to have a good fit. It's going to cause lifting, and it's just not going to look right. So when you choose the proper size, you want it to fit nicely when you place it down. You don't want to have to put too much pressure on it for it to fit. You want to look at the side and make sure it's not going over the edge of the nail. And when you're applying it, you don't want to cover the nail like that, because you're not going to have a good ratio of acrylic that's touching your nail plate, and it's going to pop off. You're not going to have a good foundation. You want to place the tip as far down as possible, but still have enough room for it to be secure. So I'm gonna go ahead and place that tip on there. And you don't wanna put too much pressure on it, because then you'll get a tip that's facing down and it's gonna be curving too much. You just wanna lightly place it on there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this process to the rest of the nails. Okay, so after we've applied the tips on all the nails, I'm gonna go in and measure to the length that I want. So for this client, I'm going to be doing a tapered square. And I like to pre-shape my nails before my acrylic application, just so it goes smoother and I get a good idea of how the nail's gonna look when it's finished. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna file in the sides. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that process on the rest of the nails. So after I'm done shaping the nail to kind of how I want it, I want to use a sanding band and lightly take the ledge off of the tip and make this smooth. And the reason for doing this is because you want a smooth foundation to apply the acrylic on. It also helps in preventing breaking and lifting. So now I'm going to go in with the same sanding band and I'm going to buff the tip and make it a little rough for our acrylic application. So now you're going to go in with the pH bond and you're going to apply it to the nail plate. And what this does is it dehydrates the nail and it removes any excess oils. And you want a really dry nail plate for acrylic application so you don't get lifting. And now we're going to apply our primer. And primer is essential for acrylic application. It's going to create a perfect foundation for your acrylic to adhere to your nail. And this prevents lifting. Without your primer, your nails are just going to pop right off. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you the difference between a wet bead, a dry bead, and a bead with perfect monomer to powder ratio. So let's start with a wet bead. When you pick up a bead, you dip your brush in your monomer and you want to push it down and get rid of all the bubbles. And this is called burping your brush. And what this does is prevent bubbles in your acrylic when you apply it. So then you wipe off the excess monomer and all your liquid is going to be at the top of the brush. So you want to turn that and dip into your powder and you will see it begin to polymerize. So let me go ahead and show you what a wet bead looks like. So a wet bead is going to spread, and what these are primarily used for is around the cuticle area when you want it really flush with your natural nail. Now I'm going to show you a dry bead. Now with this, you see it's harder to get the bead off of the brush, and that's not what you want to use. If you ever see your bead doing this, go ahead and wipe it off on your towel and start over. You are in control of your acrylic application, so if it's not looking the way you want it to, just wipe it off. Now I'm going to show you a medium bead, and it's perfect liquid to powder ratio, and you can see how it has the definite border around the bead, and this is perfect for your building acrylic foundation. Now that you know the differences between the beads, let's put it into practice. I'm going to be showing you the 3 bead application, and this is what you will learn in your basics. So this area right here is going to be called zone 1. This area is zone 2, and then your cuticle area is zone 3. So your first bead is going to go into zone 1. You're going to pick up your bead and you're going to place it, and you're going to use the body of your brush to push it down and shape it where you want it. And then you're going to fan the top of the bead up towards the nail bed. And the reason for doing this is you want a flush, smooth application of acrylic. It cuts down on filing, and it's less work at the end of applying your acrylic. So now we're going to pick up another bead and we're going to place it in zone 2. And I always like to angle my client's finger down because gravity is your friend and you don't want it to play against you. So by angling her finger down, gravity is slowly pulling that bead down towards the free edge. So again, I'm going to use the body of my brush, and we are going to pull that bead down flush with our first bead. Okay, so now it's time for our third and last bead. And this one, you want to pick up a little less powder than the other 2 because we want to have more control. So I'm going to wait for that to polymerize, and I want to place it just enough away from the cuticle area so I can angle my brush in there and flatten it and pull it away. And again, use the body of your brush to push that acrylic down into your second bead. And once you get the hang of this, it'll go by really, really fast. You'll be able to do these in no time. Okay guys, now that I've shown you the 3 bead application process, I'm going to go ahead and show you a 1 bead application. So you want to fill your brush with monomer, and you're going to pick up a pretty good size bead. Wait for it to look glossy, and you're going to place it at the top, a little ways away from the cuticle. So now you're going to go in with the tip of your brush, and you're going to lightly feather it up into the top area, making sure not to get any of the product on the skin. And then you're going to use the body of the brush to drag that all the way down. And by doing a smooth application of acrylic, it cuts down on your filing, which makes life easier. So when I'm doing an acrylic application, I prefer the 1 bead method just because it's faster so I can get to my art. So once you're done placing the bead, you allow it to dry. A good way to determine if your acrylic is dry and ready for filing is if you just tap it. And you can hear the clicking sound. So this nail is dry, and then you're going to go in and file and shape. So by making this area flush with the natural nail and going down into a slope, this is ideal for proper retention of the acrylic, and you're going to have less lifting, if no lifting at all. So now that you've applied your acrylic, you can either top coat this with a non-wipe top coat and she's good to go, or you can start with your polishes and your art. And this is the perfect foundation for your nails, whether you want to elaborate on this or you just like them how they are. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this acrylic application tutorial. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can see all our new videos. Bye guys!